for your presentation. The next workshop, workshop 5, was on building trust through civic engagement. This workshop discussed some of the effective ways for local and national governments to introduce policies that aim to encourage civic engagement and fight marginalization. I'm pleased to invite Mayor Jesse Robredo, Mayor Naga City, the Philippines, to make the presentation of the results of this workshop.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The workshop was designed to explore, within the context of challenges of building trust in government, the way civic engagement could strengthen governance and public administration, and make public governance more accountable and transparent to enable it to sustain economic growth, social justice, social equity, including the realization of the Millennium Development Goals. The workshop was divided into 4 parts. First, a discussion of concepts and issues on trust, then a presentation of international best practices that included country experiences as well as issue-based experiences. The third was a discussion on key issues and general considerations in civic engagement. And the fourth one was conclusions and recommendations. Let me just read through this to be very, very concise. The first one dealt with concepts and issues. The global trend is that the trust in government is declining, and citizen participation in public governance is regarded as an important option of building trust. However, trust in government depends on experience of the trustworthy behavior by government. Without this, participation will lead to skepticism, isolation, less communication, and less connection to the government. Public trust has been identified as being driven by meeting citizens' expectations in terms of reliance, hope, custodian of public assets, trusting with authority or given charge to act on behalf, and to account for the way entrusted power and authority has been exercised by the government. Deepening of democracy, enhancing of better connectivity between the citizen expectations and public policy to achieve more accountable and effective implementation of public policies and programs call for greater civic engagement in various aspects of local governance. Civic engagement in public governance draws its merit both from its intrinsic as well as instrumental values. The legal existence of public and fiscal support to civil society organizations give this organization a legal basis as well as an institutional obligation to engage in public governance. Proper policies require proper governance by addressing the challenges of capacity gaps, the cultural barriers and asymmetric power relationships. Special arrangements to include the poor into the civic engagement process of public governance can be drawn. Special provisions are also necessary to meet the needs of women and other disadvantaged groups in the process of civic engagement. In all of this, better awareness of risk and cost of civic engagement is also warranted. Then we had the presentation of the notable international practices. They avoided saying best practices, so they just said notable international practices. The cases demonstrated the following matters. The first one is that multi-stakeholder decision-making groups such as the Economic and Social Councils are emerging in many countries as viable options of civic engagement in macroeconomic policymaking. The experience of the Austrian social partnership highlighted that reinventing government is a core issue that facilitated the development of Austria in economic terms and provided a stable basis for democratic development. The media, legislator, and auditors, together with civil society, are critical partners in effective government. In Korea, the civil society has been encouraged to participate in agenda setting, policy decision-making, implementation, monitoring and evaluation, and auditing. Results have shown that civil society is critical to sound and effective governance, as well as reduction of corruption. By following a gradual process, Naga City in the Philippines has empowered communities and individual citizens and mainstream civic engagement in all aspects of local governance. Also in the Philippines, the Concerned Citizens of Abra for Good Governance highlighted the merits of collaborative audit. In India, concerted campaigns to secure the right to information and the practices of social audit carried out since 1996 have encouraged government to place more and more information in the public domain, generating greater confidence and accountability opportunities for the civil society institutions. The state of Queensland, Australia's experience revealed that partnerships of all parties, the state government, local government, research institution, and the communities contribute to successful implementation and ongoing refinement of the community engagement process. Successful civic engagement cases demonstrated the importance of enabling legal, information, and political environment, including the evolution of power at the local level, government level, as well as issues of capacity building. Rebuilding governance process in post-conflict situation requires special attention, and building trust in these situations require extensive community-driven consultation, empowerment, and capacity building. Good international practices include both government as well as civil society-led processes, but in all of this, leadership plays a vital role. Civic engagement processes are underpinned by certain principles such as investment in time, investment in engagement-related capacity building, the willingness to shift and share power, engagement to be outcome-oriented, long-term commitment to the process and the outcome, recognition of multiple points of engagement, government engaging community in government processes, and community engaging government in community processes as well. Let me just go down to the conclusions and recommendations. The first one is to make government leadership more effective, accountable, build trust, and create an enabling environment. There is a need for genuine communication among all stakeholders. Civic engagement is not an alternative to representative government, whose role is to provide effective management. Accordingly, there is a need to ensure that effective engagement achieves a balance between outcomes and accountability. The creation of new form of civic institution should not paralyze government through extensive analysis and accountability demands. Civic involvement must include engagement in the decision-making cycle, including planning, policy-making, implementation, and evaluation. Engagement has to be ensured at the early stages of the processes and sustained throughout. To strengthen public accountability, there is a need for effective and transparent audit and accountability mechanisms that can mainstream civic engagement in the audit process. In Tusay, one of the presenters explores the development of a joint platform on how to incorporate civil society in audit processes. Government and civil society must recognize that sound and accountable governance involves managing risk through effective leadership. The United Nations must continue its work in deepening its understanding of various options of civic engagement, including providing technical cooperation support for capacity building in government and civil society, as well as facilitate best practice exchanges of information at the international level. Finally, that the United Nations should take responsibility for more research on how participation can improve governance, service delivery, accountability, and trust. Thank you very much, and good afternoon.